with Kyle Evans. Grow with Kyle Evans.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the internet. Happy Thursday to you, September 25th. Guess what that means? I'm sure you are well aware we are 25 days into Q4 when it comes to real estate. That means we've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. We got to hustle. If you're looking at your bank account, if you're looking at your pipeline, if you're looking at your business on your whiteboard and you're like, this is thin like Kyle's hair underneath that hat, then we got to start doing something. So I think you're in the right place for your daily checkup from the neck up. We're going to continue talking business today, man. We're going to talk about database, one of the highest forms of ROI, return on investment, that one can have in real estate and sales and just about anything that we are pitching products for profit. The Rookie Real Estate Agent by J. Papasan. If you haven't picked this up yet, it's a banger. Go do yourself a favor. We're going to continue on our study of his wise words because, as I said on a coaching call yesterday, Jay, I gotta tell you something. If you're listening out there, if this gets to you, I love that you called this the Rookie Real Estate Agent. But if I'm being honest, I would say about 90% of real estate agents out there aren't following 50% of this book yet, and they should be. So I'm going to change the name from the Rookie Real Estate Agent to just the Real Estate Agent because y'all are slipping out there, man. If you're not following some of these systems and models, my goodness. He starts off chapter 6 with a great story. Think about yesteryear, ladies and gentlemen. Roll back the clock in your brain. It is 1993, 1 year after my beautiful bride was born. There's a place called Blockbuster. It was a magical place full of wonder and revelry. And you would be pumped up to go there to plan your weekend out. You guys know what I'm talking about. You're like, man, I'm getting not one, not two, but maybe even 3 videos and probably some candy and some chemically laden popcorn on the way out. Blockbuster was a vibe. You just had to be there. Blockbuster at its peak had, check this out, 40 million customers in their database. They had intel, phone numbers, addresses, names for 40 million people. That's a lot of meatballs. Blockbuster, in their wisdom at the time, they decided to test it. So they wanted to bring a bigger awareness to the fact that they had video games, not just movies, right? They didn't want to be just Blockbuster Video. They wanted the masses to understand that they had video games as well. So they were like, well, what do we do? How do we educate our clientele? And so let's lean into this database, baby. So they sent out direct mailers to their database. But here's the genius in it. They didn't send it to everybody. They sent it to the people that they assumed or thought or had a really good guess at that had children. Why? Because children were the gamers, and now, just myself included, we're the adults who are gamers. So they didn't just send a direct mail to everybody. They did a targeted mail campaign to the people that they assumed or knew had children. Check this out. The direct mail campaign, on average, an industry standard response rate is about 2 to 4%. So if I send out 100 mailers, a response rate on average is about 2 to 4 people will respond to that mailer. The flyers, because they were targeted, the redemption rate was 30%. They almost 10x'd the industry standard just by simply being strategic about the messaging and who the messaging went with. That's the power of making targeted offers through a database. I want you to start considering this law. To those of you whose database is a little dusty and maybe it's a little malnourished, the database allows you to, Jay says this, reach the right people with the right message at the right time. That's how you can be like Blockbuster in days of old when they were the champion, 10xing the industry rate, 10xing the response rate. We need to reach the right people with the right message at the right time. Now, databases, where did they come from? They came back in the day, back to yesteryear again, from a little thing called the Rolodex, which would sit on people's desks, man, had little cards with all the pertinent information. You would just boop, 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 pull it out, make your calls, get on your way. Today, we have seen that evolve because technology always wins in the long run to CRMs. It's where a lot of people house their data. It's the container that holds all their information. Do you have a CRM? Or are you just relying on your memory? Here's a great line in here by author Harvey McKay, and it says, "He who counts on his memory has a fool for a filing system." He who counts on his memory has a fool for a filing system. The reason they came up with that is because there's a British anthropologist named Robin Dunbar. Robin Dunbar theorized that people can maintain roughly 150 social relationships at once. That's about the max capacity for you being able to maintain a social relationship of some form or fashion. 150 people. That has been adopted so much that now it's called Dunbar's number. That's the beauty of a CRM. It lets you not lean on the fool of a filing system, your memory, and lets you lean on automation, on systems, on models, on tags to raise that limit from 150 to maybe even 15,000. But we can't do that if we're not using the tools at our disposal. One of the things I preach about databases is if you don't have a database, if you don't have a strong database that you're making continual touches on over time, you're going to have the same career over and over again each and every year. You're going to have to work just as hard because you're going to have to go and find today business, as David Huffaker calls it. Shout out, David. You're going to have to go find today business over and over and over again instead of growing nurtures in relationships for what tomorrow business will bring. Are you a farmer? Maintaining that database, feeding that database so you can harvest it when it's time. Nurtures are the way. One of the things I want you to think about nurtures is nurtures done the correct way is simply a person in your database who has a plan or a defined plan of action to get them to what they desire. Now, Jay on page 84 in the Rookie Real Estate Agent has a great graph, and I've seen it before, and so I drew it out for you, or I'm going to draw it out for you here. I want you to consider this as the timeline of people transacting real estate, right? So let's say they buy a house right here at the peak. They purchased a home. Well, we know on average, people move every 7 to 10 years. To make this graph super easy, we're calling it 10 years in between purchases. The problem, or the opportunity, I should say, is a lot of agents out there stop talking to people. They don't follow up. They don't stay in contact. Why? Because they're relying on their memory to remind them to keep into relationship with them. This is why only 12% of sellers use their agent again, because they can't find you. They don't remember your name because you disappeared, because it's 10 years between purchases. Here's the truth, though. Does life always go this way? Absolutely not. In fact, life has a funny way of showing up for people. Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it ain't 10 years. Sometimes it's 1 year. Sometimes it's 5 years. We have to be in emotional proximity of people to serve them when that comes, because I know this as well as you do. And we talked about this in the Bold Room on Monday and Tuesday in Orlando and Cincinnati. Life happens not just in 10-year cycles. Life happens typically around the 6 Ds that usually produce a real estate transaction. The 6 Ds are, if you don't know them, da baby, right? Diplomas, diamonds, divorce, death, and deployment. These things show up. And last time I checked, if you look back at my life, ain't no 10-year cycle there. If the people aren't in your database and they're not on a systematic touch campaign, you may miss the opportunity to serve them when life shows up like it almost always does. One of the stats I want you to think about with this is roughly 65% of the United States is homeowners. 65% of the people out there own a home. And we just saw that people move on average every 7 to 10 years. I'm just dropping things like I got butterfingers. People move on average every 7 to 10 years. That means roughly, if we do the math real quick, 6 to 7% of your database is going to transact real estate this year. Do you have enough people in there? Do you have enough relationships in there to generate the deals that you're looking for? As Keller Williams studies databases and CRMs, one of the things that they have found is what they're colloquially calling the 201 Club, which essentially means if you have more than 201 people fully executed in your database, and by execution, I mean their name, their phone number, their email, their address. On average, agents are making like $120,000 a year in GCI. Most agents come to me and they say, Kyle, I want to make six figures. Well, there's your path right there. We have to be in relationship with enough people on a systematic and automated touch that we are going to talk to them and build that relationship and be there for them. When you get the right number of leads and contacts in your database and then connect with them appropriately, that appointment milestone, which turns into closings, becomes far more predictable. People often say, Kyle, man, I can't believe that you are in just a commission only business. That must be terrifying. Not if you know your numbers. Not if you're running it like a business. Not if you know the exact amount of people each day you need to talk to. Not if you know the exact amount of relationships you need based on your conversion numbers. Not if you're going on the right amount of appointments each week to hit you to your goal that sustains yourself, your family, and others. It's scary when you don't know these things. It's scary when you're treating it like HGTV and an amateur and not a professional. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, pick your container and let's start leaning into some of these database laws, if you will, from Jay. He goes on page 87, and I love this idea because I end up talking to agents about this a lot. One of the things that I hear from them is, oh man, I have a database. It's in my phone. I have a database. I have a collection of emails in my email thing. Oh, Kyle, I update my database. I write notes on paper every now and then. Listen to me. A database is better than no database. I concede that point all day, every day. And yet, are you doing the best you can? Or are you doing the best it can be done? Because while I know that just quickly jotting down a handwritten note has a lot of speed, I know it does not have a lot of scale. The undefeated champion right now is leaning into technology and understanding the power of CRMs and the management that it can help us do with that. If you have a small SOI or a small sphere of influence, I want you to think about adding 2 people each day to that CRM or database. If you still haven't drank the Kool-Aid and jumped into a CRM yet, I see you out there. I got it. But my goal for you is to keep feeding that CRM, keep feeding that database. I think a great idea is to be shooting for when I get up, when I put on my work pants and I go to work, I'm going to connect with 2 new people to add to my database each day. That gives you 10 people a week. Over a year's time, if we just math that out, there's 52 weeks in the year. If you didn't know, that's 520 new additions to your database. Let me rewind to a point that I told you earlier. On average, if you have over 201 people in your database fully executed and you're following that plan, you're going to make 6 figures on average. Now, I know if you're listening to me on a Thursday morning, wherever you are, drinking your coffee, on a run, or in the office, you're above average just by being here. The path is in the math, as the mustachio mogul Gary Keller likes to say. Are you following the math? Now, here's some pertinent data that I'm going to implore, maybe even beg you to think about adding to your database because it's essential. Some of you have this, some of you don't, and that's okay. Our goal here is awareness, not judgment or shame. Number one, easy peasy. I hope you have this one, a name. Congratulations, you're on your way, right? A name. You need a name in the database. The next pertinent piece of information is a cell phone number, a place to contact them. Let me add a note here in a TCPA compliant way, Telephone Consumer Protection Act. So you need a name, you need a cell phone number. The next one is an email. Finally, an address. Now, if you're going for bonus points, because we've all agreed that we're above average on this show here, the notes that I think you should be considering adding to each person or each entry in your database. Some of the notes are, what are their wants and needs? What are their desires when it comes to real estate? What do they need? Do they have a massive family and need a massive house? Are they solo dolo and still want a massive house? Like, I don't care, no judgment. What do they need? Do you know what they need? Because last time I checked, you're the real estate agent. You should know. The next one is important dates. One of the most influential things in a real estate transaction is dates. Dates lead to motivation. Dates also lead to how we are going to progress on a file and the aggressiveness in which we proceed with it. Do you know what their wants and needs are? Do you know important dates for them? Do you know their price point? I hope you're writing these down. If not, you can pick up a copy of the Rookie Real Estate Agent on page 90. Do you know their pre-approval status? Man, oh man, some of you people out there, love you, mean it. Y'all be out there showing homes without no pre-approval. Mm, mm. I don't like to waste my time, but you may. Do you know their pre-approval status? Have you had that conversation? The last one here is miscellaneous. When I say miscellaneous, I mean things like this. What are their hobbies? What are they into? Do they have kids? Do they have pets? What do they like to do? What is some notes and information about them? I don't want you to treat this like a, a name and a number. I want you to treat it like it's a person with a personality, with hopes, with dreams, with desires, with a life that they're living. I want you to take some time, slow down, and know the people that you're serving. When we're thinking about segmenting our database in this CRM, some of you guys have heard me say numbers like 201, even up to 15,000. That's a lot of meatballs in a thing. We have to segment them properly. I just adore this graph that he made on page 91 here, segmenting levels in your database. 4 ways to segment them. Number 1, at the top of the funnel is leads, right? Leads. This is just some pieces of information that you have. They are a lead. When we move down the funnel a bit, the lead becomes a contact. Simply stated, we've had a conversation. We've made contact. This is a real life human being with a pulse I have spoken to. They are a contact. We're moving them down the funnel here, segmenting them in our database. Leads to contacts. We've spoken to them, which will take them further when we build and deepen that relationship to network. They are in our network. They are a friend. They are an acquaintance, maybe. They're in our network. And finally, at the core of the apple, your most powerful part of your database is your SOI. Said another way, your sphere of influence. People who have influence on you and you have influence on them. You have a deep relationship. They answer the phone when you call. You know their birthday. You talk to each other. My goal for you is to grow your sphere of influence as big and robust as possible, but that only happens through communication. That only happens from talking to them, being in their world. So, a great way to think about segmenting your database as a whole is go from leads, people with just information, to contacts. I've talked to them once, maybe twice, built a relationship. They moved to my network, built a deep, robust relationship, and now they move to my sphere of influence. And those people in my sphere of influence are going to be my VIPs. I'm going to treat them as the gold that they are. Guys, we're going to continue on this journey of the Rookie Real Estate Agent by the genius Jay Papasan. And we are at our morning break time. So I want you to just take some of this and don't get lost in the sauce, because that was a lot of information in a little bit of time. I have that habit sometimes. I want you to pick one or two things today that is standing out to you about the database and start implementing them one step at a time. Just like Jay said, if you just focused on adding 2 new people, not 20, not 100, 2 new people each day consistently over time, you're going to add 520 deals to your database. Let me run some quick math here for you guys, because I gave you a stat that people move, or that you could expect about 6 to 7% of your database to transact real estate. If I add 520 people to my database in a year's time, that statistically speaking is roughly 30 deals. The average real estate agent sells about 2 to 4 homes a year. Would you like to sell 30? The path is in the math. And the magic you're looking for is usually in the work that you're avoiding. I trust that this was a great checkup from your neck up. I can't wait to hear some of these wins from this segment and this awesome book. I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Thanks for being here. Tell your friends, share this, reach out to the people in your market center. Say, hey, you guys need to go get that checkup from the neck up from KW Maps. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Grow with Kyle Evans. Grow with Kyle Evans.